What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we're going to talk about Rian Johnson because his trilogy is making the news rounds. Unfortunately, we have to talk about this. Unfortunately, this thing is still a thing, apparently, and I don't really understand why. And I'm kind of getting tired of saying that same thing in these videos where I say I don't understand why. Why do they continue to reward bad performances and bad behavior? It makes no sense to me. We just saw that Jon Kasdan, after bringing identity politics into Star Wars and having Solo fail miserably for multiple reasons, not just specifically with Jon Kasdan being so woke on Twitter, but just the fact that he did that and then they gave him Indy 5. Unbelievable. Rian Johnson, they gave him a trilogy before The Last Jedi came out. That's fine. They thought The Last Jedi was going to be overwhelmingly positively received, and it wasn't. Now, I understand there are people that like The Last Jedi, and that's cool. But even if you like The Last Jedi, if you don't understand that Rian Johnson is an absolute liability right now, then you're not paying attention. Just take your own opinion out of things for a minute and look at this from a business standpoint, from a Star Wars standpoint. Is Rian Johnson good for the brand? No, he is not. And the fact that this man is still involved creatively with Star Wars, it shows that Disney, this is proof, it's more proof that Disney just does not care. They don't care. Now, do I think that this information is leaking out intentionally? Of course I do. I think Disney is really trying to test the waters and see what's going on here. If you haven't figured it out already, Disney, Rian Johnson completely destroyed the fan base. The Last Jedi completely destroyed the fandom. Rian Johnson continues to attack fans online almost daily. He calls fans names all the time, and then he gives half-ass apologies for telling people basically, well, I'm sorry that this didn't line up with what you wanted. It's just, it's unbelievable. But I do not believe this trilogy will happen. I think that Disney is trying to float out fillers again. And my question is, what the hell have you just not been paying attention for the past 6 months, Disney? Or have you just had your heads in the sand and you're just not paying attention? Why do you need to throw fillers out there again? Why do you need to leak this information again? How many times have people tried to tell you that this man does not deserve to be anywhere near Star Wars? He needs a restraining order from Star Wars. We need to give Rian Johnson a restraining order from Star Wars. That's how bad this has gotten. Yet Disney is continuing to allow it because they just simply aren't paying attention. They don't care. They are really arrogant. They are really on a high horse, and they have always been. As a Disney fan, I've said that many times, that I'm a Disney fan, but that still doesn't exclude the fact that I can admit that these people are always on a high horse. They typically don't have what the average everyday person wants in mind, and not that they would know because they're so focused on their New York and LA atmospheres that there's no way they could know what just a regular guy that works a 9 to 5 or a regular woman who shows up for work and then she has to deal with family stuff and everything else that life throws at them. They don't worry about those types of people, and eventually that's going to catch up with you, and it's catching up with Star Wars right now. It's catching up because you are forgetting the fans, and it's not that they're forgetting so much as they're intentionally turning away from the fans. They are intentionally trying to bring a new fan base in, a new fan base that they feel they can mold, and they can take all of this identity politics and intertwine it into Star Wars, and they think that these SJWs are going to support them, but they're not going to support you. They never have, they never will. Solo is a perfect example of that. So, Rian Johnson's trilogy, again, I will state it again, like I've said it numerous times at this point. I do not believe this trilogy will happen. If it happens, it's the equivalent of letting CM Punk get into the UFC ring again to watch him get the hell beat out of him again. Rian Johnson does not belong in Star Wars. He does not. Rian Johnson is a talented filmmaker. I'm not saying he's not. I'm willing to admit that. But he's not someone that should be involved in Star Wars in any capacity whatsoever. Give this man a restraining order for Star Wars. Keep him as far away from Star Wars as humanly possible. Please pass this. Let's just make it a new bill. Let's just get Congress to just make this a new bill. If there is a Star Wars function or production going on, Rian Johnson cannot be within 500 miles of that production or function. Period. Like, he needs to be that far away from it. I'm okay with this. This is what we need to make happen. Anyway, I'm still moving the studio around, so thank you to everyone that's bearing with me through this. It's been very frustrating with some of the stuff that's come up, some unforeseen circumstances, but we're going to be back and better than ever. Don't worry. So thank you all for the support. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.